Why is it that the most powerful men are never available? Why do kings not chase? Why do leaders not reply instantly? Why does the man with the most options move the slowest? And why is it that the moment you become available, you lose value? Tonight, we're breaking something dangerous. A rule Niccolò Machiavelli understood centuries ago. A rule modern society hides from you. A rule that separates men who are pursued from men who beg to be noticed. And at the end of this video, I'll reveal the final principle, the one rule that makes people feel your absence before you even leave. Stay until the end, because once you understand this, you will never be available again. Power does not announce itself. It does not text first. It does not over-explain. It does not rush. Power waits, and waiting creates gravity. Look at history. Kings did not knock on doors. Doors opened for them, not because they were arrogant, but because they were scarce. Scarcity creates value. Availability destroys it. Machiavelli wrote in The Prince that it is better to be respected than loved, if you cannot be both. But he never said to be distant without purpose. Distance must be strategic. When you are always present, you become background noise. When you are selective, you become an event. The modern man confuses access with importance. He thinks replying instantly shows strength. He believes being reachable proves value. But the opposite is true. If someone can reach you anytime, your presence costs nothing. And what costs nothing is never treasured. Think of luxury brands. They don't beg for customers. They limit supply. They restrict access. They raise price. They create waiting lists. Not because they need to, but because exclusivity signals power. Powerful men operate the same way. They are not unavailable because they are busy. They are unavailable because their time is expensive. And here is the first psychological truth. People respect what they must earn. When attention is freely given, it is subconsciously devalued. When attention is scarce, it becomes addictive. Notice how attraction works. The moment someone pulls back slightly, you lean in. The moment someone becomes fully available, desire drops. This is not manipulation. It is human nature. The brain equates difficulty with importance. Machiavelli understood perception is reality. If you appear too accessible, you appear replaceable. Replaceable men are always available. Irreplaceable men are scheduled. But this is deeper than ignoring messages. Availability is energy. If your emotional state shifts every time someone reacts to you, you are available. If your mood depends on external validation, you are available. If you change your plans for attention, you are available. Powerful men protect their internal state like a fortress. They do not open the gates because someone knocks. They observe first. This is rule 1. Guard your time. Time is the only real currency of status. When you give time freely, you give power freely. When you delay time strategically, you increase your perceived value. This does not mean play childish games. It means do not prioritize what has not earned priority. The king does not attend every gathering. He chooses where his presence will shift the room. And that is the second principle. Presence must be felt, not frequent. When you walk into a room rarely, people notice. When you speak rarely, people listen. When you disappear occasionally, people wonder. Wonder creates psychological tension, and tension creates attraction. The average man fears silence. The powerful man uses silence. Silence makes others project meaning onto you. When you over-explain, you remove mystery. When you remain composed, you invite interpretation. Machiavelli warned that familiarity breeds contempt. If people see too much of you, too often, without hierarchy, they subconsciously lower your status. Hierarchy is not about dominance. It is about perceived position. If you treat everyone as equal access to you, they will treat you as equal to them. Powerful men decide who gets access. This is not arrogance. It is structure. Structure creates respect. Look at your life honestly. Do people interrupt you whenever they want? Do you answer immediately? Do you seek approval? then you are signaling low hierarchy. Hierarchy is communicated through boundaries, and boundaries are communicated through selective availability. But here is where most men fail. They try to fake scarcity without building substance. True scarcity must be backed by value. If you disappear without impact, no one notices. If you withdraw without authority, it looks insecure. Scarcity without competence is manipulation. Scarcity with competence is power. So what builds competence? Skill, purpose, direction. When a man is deeply focused on his mission, availability naturally decreases. He does not withdraw to create desire. He withdraws because he is building, and that is what makes it authentic. The powerful man does not ignore you to seem powerful. He is simply occupied with something greater. Machiavelli believed that rulers must appear virtuous while acting strategically. In modern life, that translates to this: be warm, but not open. Be kind, but not accessible. Be present, but not available. There is a difference. Availability means you rearrange yourself. Presence means you arrive with intention. The third principle: never compete for attention. Attention is the marketplace of ego. When you chase it, you lower your value. When you attract it passively, you elevate your status. The lion does not advertise. It waits, and the environment adjusts. But here is the hidden psychological layer most people miss. When you are too available, you remove uncertainty. Uncertainty fuels dopamine. Dopamine fuels obsession. Predictability kills tension. If someone knows you will always respond immediately, always agree, always show up, there is no emotional spike. Powerful men maintain unpredictability within stability. They are stable in character, unpredictable in access. That balance creates intrigue. Now we reach the deeper Machiavellian layer. Power is not about being loved. It is about controlling perception. If people believe you have options, they treat you differently. If people believe your time is limited, they compete for it. So ask yourself, does your behavior signal abundance or desperation? Availability often masks insecurity. You fear being forgotten. You fear losing connection. You fear silence. But silence is leverage. When you stop filling the void, others rush to fill it. And this leads to the fourth principle: withdraw strategically, not emotionally, not angrily. Strategically. If a conversation loses depth, reduce energy. If respect decreases, increase distance. If someone oversteps, slow access. Do not argue. Adjust availability. This is psychological power. Machiavelli advised princes to avoid being hated, but he also advised them to avoid being too familiar. Familiarity erodes authority. Authority thrives on controlled distance. Now here is the uncomfortable truth. Most men are available because they lack internal direction. When you have nothing consuming you, you consume attention. When you have a mission, attention becomes a distraction. The mission makes you scarce, and scarcity makes you powerful. Imagine two men. One replies instantly, always free, always ready. The other responds when convenient, moves on his schedule, speaks with deliberation. Who feels more valuable? Value is not declared. It is demonstrated through restraint. Restraint signals self-control. Self-control signals power. Power attracts. But we are not finished. There is one final rule. The rule that ties everything together. The rule that makes people feel your absence even when you are present. It is this: be internally unavailable, even when physically present. What does that mean? It means your emotional state is not negotiable. It means your identity is not up for validation. It means you are self-contained. Most men are externally present but internally begging. Powerful men are externally calm and internally sovereign. When you master this, something shifts. People sense it. You are not reacting. You are not chasing. You are not adjusting. You are choosing. And choice is the ultimate signal of abundance. Machiavelli's true lesson was never cruelty. It was control. Control of perception. Control of access. control of emotion. If you master those three, you do not need to declare power. It radiates. And the paradox is this: the less available you become, the more demanded you are. The less you speak, the more weight your words carry. The less you chase, the more you are pursued. So from this day forward, remember, your time is not free. Your attention is not automatic. Your presence is not guaranteed. Be warm, be calm, be deliberate, but never be freely available. Because kings are not hard to reach. They are worth reaching. And that is the Machiavellian strategy.